Trump-thumping billionaire and proponent of free speech unless it hurts his feelings, Elon Musk, has been accused of not only stifling free speech yet again on his dumpster fire internet site formerly known as Twitter, but also of election interference because of the actions his site took against a pro-Kamala Harris account that held a massive fundraiser for the presumptive Democratic nominee last night. So how much truth is there to the accusations being lobbed at the buffoon tycoon, and why is this yet another case of nearly every conservative accusation being no more than a confession? I'm Kenny Hesse for Really American, and let's get right into breaking it all down. Taking the latter question first, it's interesting that Elon is being accused of interfering in the election now because this whole fiasco comes only a day after Elon Musk himself lobbed accusations of election interference at Google and its parent company Alphabet. Those in glass houses, Elon. Now, this is far from the first time that the muskrat has accused Google of being biased against former President Donald Trump, but these allegations focused primarily on Google's autocomplete feature. Something that even MAGA-supials are familiar with, as their idea of doing your own research essentially boils down to typing in the first few words of their latest conspiracy theory, clicking on the first thing that autocompletes to their biased liking, and parading it around as fact from a reputable source, despite most of the time it actually being a clip from InfoWars.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that?
The Magadonian brain is truly a marvel of modern psychopathy. Anyway, Musk's accusations boil down to the fact that when some users typed, quote, "assassination attempt of" into the search bar, the top autocomplete suggestions appeared to be for former President Ronald Reagan and Bob Marley, despite, as we all remember, that on July 13th, Trump was shot in the ear during a failed assassination attempt at a rally in Pennsylvania. This then led numerous conservative commentators to speculate that Trump being left out of the suggestions was an intentional effort to influence the November election. Like conservative dingus and ski slope enthusiast Donald Trump Jr.
Donald Trump Jr.'s on cocaine.
Don Jr.'s on coke. I have a cocaine addiction.
Decrying on Twitter, big tech is trying to interfere in the election again to help Kamala Harris. We all know this is intentional election interference from Google, truly despicable. Posting that aside a picture of the alleged autocomplete atrocity, with Musk also sharing and commenting on a similar post. Musk also posted that Google had a search ban on Trump because the term didn't appear in some users' autocomplete predictions for President Donald. Instead, in the screenshot that you can see here, when users search for President Donald, the Google autocomplete predictions appear to be President Donald Duck and President Donald Reagan, which is just objectively hilarious and a wonderfully serendipitous trolling of some of the internet's biggest known trolls. It just goes to show how much of snowflakes they are for getting upset over the darndest things and turning seemingly trivial mishaps into full-blown conspiracies. In a statement, a Google spokesperson told NBC News that the autocomplete feature was experiencing some issues on Monday, saying autocomplete is currently not working as intended for some searches about the names of several past presidents and the current vice president. We're looking into these anomalies and working on improvements, which we hope to roll out soon. Our autocomplete systems are dynamic, so predictions will change based on common and trending queries. Their communications account also added these pictures and contexts in response to another of Musk's comments and explained, some context here. These labels are automatically generated based on common topics across many news articles, and they change over time. A search today for Kamala Harris showed top stories labeled with Donald Trump because many articles covered the two of them together. You can see this happening across many topics like the Olympics, other public figures, companies, and more. But that didn't stop the far-right conspiratorial loom from weaving together their own reality where their freedom of speech is yet again under attack from the radical big tech lefties. Which, in a blissful turn of the tables of ignorance, became incredibly ironic when just last night, Elon Musk was accused of the very same interference. With Mediaite running a story titled, "Real Election Interference, Elon Musk accused of suspending White Dudes for Harris account after organizers host fundraising call." And we just released a video covering the highlights of the call, so be sure to check that out here, because it was a pretty epic win for Harris and a major L for Trump. And unfortunately, we don't have enough time to get into much of the content of the call itself in this video, but essentially, Elon Musk was accused of suspending White Dudes for Harris account after organizers host fundraising call. And we just released a video covering the highlights of the call, so be sure to check that out here, because it was a pretty epic win for Harris and a major L for Trump. And unfortunately, we don't have enough time to get into much of the content of the call itself in this video, but essentially, The call, which took place Monday evening, drew nearly 200,000 attendees, and more than $4 million was raised, which will be donated to the Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential campaign. Not long after the call, however, organizer Mike Nellis took to his personal account to reveal that @DudesForHarris had been suspended. In a tweet, he called out Musk and Donald Trump Jr. and said they were, quote, running scared due to the success of the fundraiser. According to the screenshot Nellis posted, the account was suspended for attempting to evade suspension. Some theorized that a similar account with the handle @DudesForHarris, with the word "for" spelled out, triggered this suspension, but Nellis clarified that only @DudesForHarris was associated with the call, responding in this post and saying, "This is false. DudesForHarris is the only account associated with our call. It had over 15,000 plus followers. Please delete this, Dave." Responding here to Dave Troy, who was the one suggesting the suspension miscommunication. Once word of the incident got around online, others jumped in to accuse Musk of election interference and claimed the account was only suspended because it supported a Democratic presidential candidate. With Brett Meisels of Midas Touch Network tweeting this and saying, "Breaking, X has suspended the White Dudes for Harris account after it raised more than $4 million for Kamala Harris. This is the real election interference." And activist David Hogg piggybacking off that to ask Elon Musk, "So it's only free speech as long as you agree with it?" And even the official account of the hacker group Anonymous jumping in to call it election interference as well. But y'all, it gets even wilder because on Tuesday morning, Nellis discovered that the account had been brought back but is now permanently in read-only mode. And because of that, the account can no longer post new tweets. And in classic Elon fashion, at the time of publication of this article, Elon had not commented on the suspension. Now, given that Elon is inching closer every day to Twitter being as poorly run a site as the infamous Truth Social, perhaps this could just be chalked up to a dumpster fire being a dumpster fire. And there really was no intentional interference on his part to push back against what he saw as an election interference on the part of Google, as conspiratorial as those claims may have been. But knowing Elon and his ego that is as, if not more fragile than Donnie Diapers, I personally find that kinda hard to believe. The guy fires his whole moderation team and is incessantly active on the site and has come out on multiple occasions recently in fervent support of Donald Trump and has become a far-right conservative megaphone touting conspiracies and dumb internet theories virtually non-stop. But that is the story and all the sides of the drama from the internet and my perspectives, and I'm very curious to know, what do you guys think? First of all, is there any credence whatsoever to Elon's accusations that Google is attempting to interfere in the US election on behalf of Kamala Harris, or at least against Donald Trump? Or do you see that as yet another example, like we said, of those on the right lobbing accusations that are in fact just a way to mask their own confessions? And from there, do you think Elon had a part in taking down the White Dudes for Harris account in an attempt to interfere? Or was it just another example of Twitter's complete disintegration as a reliable social media site? Either way, I can't say this looks good for little old Elon. But one thing I do know is that the White Dudes for Harris fundraising call looked damn good for Kamala Harris and terrible for Trump. And now, Elon Musk as well. So sound off in those comments down below, drop a like if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel for more political and internet deep dives. And for Really American, I'm Kenny Hesse, and I'll see you all in the next one.